if you're trying to follow in the path of CLA or anybody who's made it, and you think to yourself, how could I mix in the box? CLA is sitting there in $1 million studio using this amazing console. How can I possibly mix in the box? You should really throw out these ridiculous thoughts. If you don't control what's going on up here, who do you think's gonna? It's all up to you. You decide what gets up in here, and that will determine your life, your whole life. That's why the people that want to say things like, this isn't true, or you can't possibly, whatever, these people are defeated. They are people who have lost the battle with their mind. And those people, some of them are unreachable, but the ones that are reachable wouldn't say something like that because they're at least close enough to be reached. The ones that are unreachable, just get away from those people. You can't really help it. They're never going to be saved. Whereas you can stop yourself from thinking that way if you let yourself realize that the people that are successful, it's because they decided they were never going to stop until they were. So something like learning how to mix in the box, so important to me, not maybe to you. And if you decide that outboard gear is the way to go, maybe that's the way to go. But I have to say, it's a pendulum that swings all over, right? Back and forth. I used to be all in the box. Then I acquired a ton of gear and went out of the box, and I was convinced this is going to help me get mixes to where I need to go. And it did. It helped my confidence to be able to have this stuff. And if it was just a confidence thing, it got me where I needed to be. So I was happy. But I haven't made it like CLA has made it. Let's face it, CLA has made it. I'm nowhere near a guy like that. So for a guy like that to change his ways and learn how to mix in the box wearing headphones, that's crazy. Why would he want to do that? He's already set in his ways of how he likes to do things, and he would have to love, torturing himself. He would have to love working out a lot, that feeling of busting his butt in order to improve and feeling all the pain along the way in order to improve. He would have to want that. And guess what? It's not something people want to do once they've achieved a certain level, is to start over and learn how to do things all in the box. I've heard mixes he's done all in the box. They're great. But the point is, he likes to mix the way he likes to mix, and you'll never change a guy's mind like that. That's very similar to trying to teach, a dog how to all of a sudden use your bathroom, your toilet, to go to the bathroom after they're a grown-up dog. When they're little, you can train a dog to do anything. After they've done certain things for a certain portion of their life, the whole life, now you want to train the dog to use something crazy? You have no shot. Just like with a cat, you got no shot. If the cat's used a regular litter box their whole life, now you bring in the litter robot with the crazy cleanup all over the place where it's automatically cleaning. Yeah, it's easier for the owner, but good luck training an old cat to do that. Some might, most won't. And that's the point. You can decide who you are and where you are in your journey, and this will basically be based around how much do you want to have to endure, how much pain, how much suffering are you willing to endure in order to make your life easier, because that's the only reason that I would want to do it. And anybody who's starting or in the middle stage or intermediate, or even somebody who's done this for years but hasn't quite made it at that level yet, this is the reason you would want to do that. Just like Serban, who started mixing, out of the box, then was like, why, let's mix in the box. He realized that once he was doing recalls and basically printing everything back into the computer, he's like, this is ridiculous. It got to a point where it wasn't worth it to do that. So he just learned how to do it in the box just as good as he could do it out of the box, because of the fact that the way people work today, that is a faster workflow. No matter how you look at it, you can do more because it's faster. So someone like me who mixes hybrid, I also recognize how much easier it would be not to, and I don't want to. I'd rather learn how to do the other way. And this is something that comes at a cost, and I'm aware of it, and I'm willing to pay the cost. Just like anybody who's ever gotten in shape knows how hard it was in the beginning, and then how easy it becomes to keep on your routine once you realize that it's just about getting yourself over the hump of thinking it's hard. Once you get over that, it becomes the norm to do this, and your body adapts, and then you can conquer it. This is the same mentality you must apply to anything new you are doing when it comes to mixing. If you're trying to use tools that you haven't used, you need to go through that same process that's hard, that will eventually become something that's the norm. So the way I do it, my personal way of getting better at that, that's what I wanted to share with you. And I also wanted to see how you guys have maybe a way to make it different or easier on me. Because my way of doing it's a little convoluted, but it's the best thing I know how to do at the moment. So this is how I do it. I make a mix in the box, right? That's my way of what I always do. I mean, like, let me start over. I make a mix out of the box, hybrid style, the way I've always done. Then I make one in the box. So I'm doing 2 mixes for every song I work on. And usually, so far, the out of the box mix wins almost every time in a blind test. Critical thing to note, blind test. Because if you know which is which, you're always going to pick the other one. The way I do the blind test is I will take both of the mixes I make and put them in iTunes on a playlist. Then I shuffle them around with my eyes closed. I just, pick them up, move them, pick them up, move them, leave them, pick them up. And I just move things around enough where the shuffle is now, all mixed up. Don't know what's what. Just those 2 songs. Then, with my eyes closed, I play it. Then I'll hit the arrow down, play the next one. Hit the arrow, I'll just keep playing it until I decide which is better. Then I mark that down. Okay, this one's better. Open my eyes. Which one was it? Ooh, interesting. Then shuffle them around again. Close your eyes. Shuffle them around. Then I do it again. If I can pick the same mix 3 times in a row and it's always the in the box, I know that in the box is just as good at that point. Haven't been able to really do this yet. To me, it's usually obvious the one I make in the box compared to out of the box. And once that's not the case, I know I'll have something. So I just keep doing it this way in order to get it where I can pick the other one. But the point is, I really want to pick the other one. Why? Because you'd be out of your mind to think it's not easier when you have to do anything on the high level where you're printing stems, let's say, for everything. Andrew Sheps talked about this, and he actually wrote a program for this. This is not a pitch, of course. It's not a plug for any plugins or anything, but he wrote a program. I'm not even going to name it. It was great because I tried this once, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. If you mix all in the box, it's super amazing because you don't even have to do it in real time. You don't have to run everything in real time. So it does the offline bounce, and it will do every single stem print you want. It will mute things. It will unmute things. You basically give it the program of what you want it to do. You spell it out, and it does it for you while you sleep. You don't even have to be around, and it takes a fraction of the time compared to what it would be if you had to run everything through your gear in real time. The things that take the longest are some of the UA plugins and things like that, but if it's a lot of the time, half the speed of what it would be to run it in real time. And you actually don't have to do anything, to move anything, to do anything. You also don't have to recall anything. I mean, we're talking so much easier. Now, a lot of people will get into a thing saying, easier isn't better, yada, yada. But what I'm saying is enough people can do it in the box and literally make mixes that are amazing. That's unquestionable. We know Chad Blake's mixes are amazing. We know Serban's mixes are amazing. Andrew Sheps' mixes are amazing. I mean, what are we talking about? Michael Brower's mixes are amazing. So many people mix in the box and make amazing mixes. So it's possible. The first step is getting you to realize it's possible. The next step is to go through the heartache until you can actually deliver the same thing that you think now you need the gear for. Because that's something I've always felt. It's actually, I have a very addictive personality, so I would get hung up on things. But the thing that would always drive me to drop it, whatever it was that I was hung up on, was this thought process that I need this now, and I hate that. I hate needing anything. When it comes to something I need this all the time. That's being a slave to anything I hate. That's actually why I'm not a huge coffee drinker. I'll drink it sometimes here and there, but I'm not addicted to needing it every day because even that was something that I was like, no, I won't be a slave to this thing that everyone's a slave to. I refuse. And this is the same mentality that's carried me through a number of things. When things get hard and now all of a sudden I feel like I'm a slave to something, I refuse. All right. And that's the same thing with this. I feel like I'm a slave to the gear and I hate it. So the same amount that I like the way my mixes sound, I'm determined to make it not the case where now all of a sudden in the box, I like that more. Like I'm determined to make that the case. I want it to be in the box great because other people can do it. So why are they special? I can do it too. You need this mindset. You need it. And anybody that tells you that it's not possible and anybody that tells you that, it's sacrificing quality for whatever, like, trust me, I was in that boat, so I get you guys, but I think it's possible for those people to do it, so it's possible for you to do it. It's possible for me. It's possible for anyone who's willing to go through that heartache and that work. There are people out there who couldn't swim, and then they could. If they just decided they can't swim forever, they would never swim. But they now can because they freaking needed to. So they learned. And I'm sure it was scarier than learning how to mix in the box. So anything like that, you're afraid of anything, that's the comfort zone that you live within, is this fear, and you're willing to avoid. Well, don't avoid. Go through it. It's the only way. Like a football player, straight through the hole. You don't go around the danger, you go through it. And this is what we're going to do when it comes to mixing. If you can't cook, you should be cooking, and you should make it where now you can, because there's not like a special ability to be able to cook. You need to do it enough and learn how to do it and practice enough, and then all of a sudden you'll be a good cook. Or you tell yourself you can't, and then you won't. What you'll find is, especially when you're around certain people, when they say, "Oh, I'm not good at this," "Oh, I can't do that," "Oh, oh, I can't," "I'm not a good driver," whatever. They've accepted that they're bad at something. They let that win. They let their mind be defeated by whatever it is they tried and weren't good at, as opposed to fighting it. Now, I want people to fight it, and I don't want you to listen to any of these ridiculous people out there, the weeds in the ground, like I've mentioned before, that are going to stand in your way and say, meh, meh, meh. Just whiny little people they are, and that's the problem. You don't want to hit that with any reply. You don't want to let that in your life. You just keep it moving. Just keep it moving right past those people. Because that's all they are. They're stuck in the ground, man. That's why I use that term. They're stuck in the ground where they are, and you could just lawn mow right over those people. That's the bottom line, all right? So you could do this. Everybody can do whatever it is they think they can't when it comes to mixing, or they can't hear this. It's about ear training. So many people will tell you it's about ear training. All you need to do is work enough consistently, and now your ears are improving. Just like if you can't do a pull-up and now you try to do pull-ups, the first day you can't. You think it's impossible. How does somebody do 20 pull-ups? And then all of a sudden you do it enough. Now you can do 20 pull-ups. So that's the point. You do it enough. You get the strength. You then can do it. It applies to mixing in the box. It applies to everything. Mixing in headphones. It applies to everything. You can't hear compression. You do it enough. Now you can. So just have the right mindset. That will take you through life. Don't let this control you. You control this. This will run away. This will run away with your mix. This will make you make 100,000 mix decisions that are terrible. Like, this will make you ruin everything you've done by second guessing yourself. You control this. All right. This wants to be safe and comfortable, and this wants to be in a place where other people's approval matters. This wants to keep you safe and secure so you don't run out into the wild, get eaten by lions. Well, guess what? You don't need that for that right now. What you need, there's no lions out there. All right. And for those where there are lions out there, then you guys be careful. The rest of you, there ain't no lions out there. So what does that mean? It means don't let this fear run your life. Don't let your need for approval run your life. Do everything you can every day to be on the edge of your comfort zone, because every single time I've done that, every single time I was worried about doing something new or different, and then I did it, the amount of joy and the amount of encouragement you give yourself from doing that is everything. There's no match nobody can tell you something's great and make you feel that way the way you will make yourself feel from having conquered something that you thought you couldn't do or didn't want to or were too scared to. It's all within you. You give yourself that amazing feeling. That's why when I'm doing my A/B test, it's my judgment that matters. Just like when I send a mix out, it's because I love it. I don't send my mix to 3 people and have them tell me they love it before I send it out. It's my judgment that matters. So when I'm doing my comparisons, when I pick in the box every time for a consistent amount of time, and then I will get the confidence I need to switch. I know that's what it is. So that's what I do. And I recommend everybody do something like that. Now, if you guys have any other way to A/B test stuff, because I know there was an A/B plugin that was great for references and stuff, but they discontinued it, I think. So if anybody has another way to A/B test stuff within the DAW, so I don't have to do, the export to iTunes and do this thing I'm talking about, that would be great. Let me know, because I'm always looking to learn stuff, especially about something like that could help out. So seriously, I really appreciate it. I know others will appreciate that a lot. All right. If you dug it, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out more than you know, and we're helping spread this message that's only going to help people, because those weeds in the ground are coming, and we got to mow over them, and you guys can help. So I really appreciate it. All right. Not even kidding. Evan Jaffe, Custom Cut Studios. You guys got this. Take it easy.